Welcome everyone to episode 64 of This Week in Geek. My name is Ren, and I'm of course, as always, or at least as most of the time, joined by my co-host Zach Pope. How are you doing today, Zach?
I'm doing great, man. We're on a streak. We've been able to
We're
do
on
this
a
show,
streak
so it's a
together.
good thing. Yes,
Next week we
exactly.
don't have a show because there's this little thing called the London Film Festival,
Are
but
you sure?
it's
Are you
it's a good
sure?
reason to miss it.
Wait, are you
Yes, I
sure
am.
you're going to that?
I am.
1,000. What's the
Well,
first film you see? What's the first film you're gonna see when
the
you go?
first film is Saltburn.
Ooh,
Um,
that's cool.
that's the opening film. Actually, what day is next Saturday?
That is the 7th.
The set. Oh yeah, I'm not making it back home in time because it's Killers of the Flower Moon Day.
Oh, it's premiering there, or
Yeah.
it's show. Oh, that's cool.
It's
That's
literally the
cool.
only screening I have that day. So who knows? Maybe we work out a thing where we can make the show later. But I don't know. Just for now, just count the show not happening because yeah, London Film Festival. Um, but if you're finding us live, however you're finding us, thank you for finding us, whether you're watching us live, whether you're watching us on the repeat, or listening to the soothing sounds of our voices on Spotify. If you're new to This Week in Geek, the show has 3 segments. The first segment is when we go through our weekly ranking. That's when me, Zach, and then some of you in the live chat go through everything we watched this past week and rank it from worst to best. After that, we go into our main topic. That's the topic on the thumbnail, the topic on the title. And after that, we go to our favorite section of the show, the live, well, not live, but the Q&A portion of the show where you just ask us anything you want and you leave your questions by going to the My Community tab where you see the thumbnail for this video and leave your questions there. If you want to guarantee your question is answered because we maybe don't have time to get to all those questions, you can actively support us while you ask great questions through the tip link or super chat feature. All right, with that out of the way, Zach, get us started on the weekly ranking because it's been a while since you got us going.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, I haven't watched a lot. September was the month that I watched the least amount of movies, but that's because I watched like 400 different shows, and I've been playing a shit ton of video games. So bear with me on this. At the bottom, and by the way, I've liked everything that I've watched this week. But at the bottom is, I think I'm gonna get shit for this. The original Saw. Um, I really like this movie. I really, 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 really like it. Ren, you only have that face because I liked everything I saw this
Keep
week.
talking, you bastard.
But I didn't fully like with the Saw franchise. I didn't really grow up with the first one. I grew up with the second one. So the second one has always been my favorite until this past week. But yeah, so first Saw. I'm not going to say much more. I'm just going to dig a hole. Up next, Saw X. Saw X is exactly probably my favorite one of the franchise. I'm like pretty definitive on that. I think it's the best one. In terms of storytelling, in terms of their choices, I don't think the traps are the best of the franchise, if I'm being honest. But I do like some people were saying that, and I mean they're good, but there's
They're not the
some
worst
wild.
either.
No, they're not the worst either. But I overall really liked it, and I thought the traps were cool. But for me, I was really into it because of the characters and how they dealt with Amanda and of course John Kramer. But what I want to say, and I don't know if like watching this, I'm like, it feels like they're like, man, we fucked up by Saw 3. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm shocked they didn't do a Halloween situation where they're like, the rest gone.
No, I don't.
They
I don't
wouldn't.
want to do that.
No,
I don't want to go to that extreme either because the best Saw film after the first one is Saw 6.
Saw
Saw
6 is
6 is
good.
really fucking
Yeah.
good.
So I don't think they will either. But it was just a thought
Now
I
you
had in the
can do
back
in
of my head.
betweens. You can do
You can,
3.5 and 4.5, and this
and
one
I
is
think they will,
1.5.
and I think they're going
I
to.
think so too.
So,
Stay for that mid credit scene because oh my fucking
oh,
god.
it was good. My sister is so my family were pretty big on Saw. Like we didn't watch it all the time, but like we definitely marathoned the entire franchise at one point when we were younger.
Mhm.
And it brings back good memories. My sister's going to see it today. She's very excited. Um,
I might
coming
go
up
see it again
next,
tomorrow.
you should. Coming up
Might.
next, we have Generation V. Man, I was so surprised. I was not excited for this show. And I know you loved season 3 of The Boys. I partially
I
loved most
love
of it.
season.
I did not like the first 3 episodes of that, and that show started to turn me off. And I've been getting on the point where I'm not. It sucks because it's hard for me to get excited for The Boys stuff now, and I don't want to be that way. Gen V won me back over, and I think it's because of how well written those characters are. They are some I loved every single one of the people in there. And full disclosure, I got to see the first 6 episodes. Ren, you've seen the first 7, right?
I've seen 7 of them. Yes.
7. Okay. So it is just very it's the same stuff, conspiracy theories and all that stuff. But these characters, I was really taken back by um I don't remember the blonde's name off the top of my head, but I
Kate.
like at first I
Well, there's
hated
2
her.
blondes.
The one who has the powers to like touch people and like tell them what to
Kate, yeah.
do. I hated her at first. I
My favorite
hated her.
character.
Same. I mean, Jess Sinclair, I'm pretty biased towards because I really like the blood powers and stuff like that. But Kate is an exceptional character. And what I really loved about The Boys, and you guys haven't seen these episodes yet, episodes 5 and 6 are some of the best in the entire Boys
Episode
franchise.
5 is so good.
It's very Legion-esque. I said this in my review. It reminded me of something that you would see in Legion,
Yeah.
which such an underrated show. Such an underrated show. So,
Sure.
did you like Legion? Oh,
Yes, but I'm partially at fault for it being underrated because I never finished it.
I didn't either.
Okay.
I've seen the first 2 seasons. So,
I've
but
seen
yeah,
the
dude.
first 1.5 seasons. I don't think I even finished season 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love Gen V, but at my number 1 for the week, it's Ahsoka again. This is
Oh.
my 3rd favorite show of the year. I just every episode, like seeing Thrawn strategically like puzzle piece this thing was like out of a nerd's dream. And then I love when he reads the thing and he goes, Anakin Skywalker. Like just the way like I cannot do an impression of him because Mickelson's voice is just perfect, but the way that he mentions that,
Yeah.
and then if you've played or if you've watched Rebels and you know Thrawn's background and you know his
And if
connection
you've
with
read the
that,
books.
and if you read the books, I really, really hope Ahsoka and him meet up this next week.
They have to.
They have
They
to.
have to.
So I want to ask you just on a theory level, since we're not talking about Ahsoka, do you think cliffhanger? Is it the obvious way they're going?
Yes, there is. I think they'll give enough resolution for the season and establish a new goal, but there is a cliffhanger of Thrawn escapes or Thrawn
That's
gets
what I was
back
thinking.
to the galaxy. Yeah,
And do you
that's gonna be it.
think? I also said this in my review last week. Do you think Shin kills Balin? I think Shin's gonna end up killing Balin.
I don't count it out, but it's not what I would bet on.
What do you think?
I think Thrawn, not directly because Thrawn doesn't dirty his hands, but like it's Thrawn's command.
Okay, interesting. Because I'm like, what is this thing that he's going after? Because there's a lot they have to do this week.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm excited. Your turn.
All right, I had a pretty busy week, but
Yeah, you saw the
thankfully,
creator.
I saw the creator and many other things.
Oh, I guess I forgot to rank that because I technically saw it 2 weeks ago, but I don't remember if I ranked it
Oh,
or
that's
not.
true. You saw it the week
So
before.
I would put it
think was
under
still under
Ahsoka.
embargo.
Yeah, I'd put it
Okay.
under Ahsoka.
My week in terms of things I watched started out very rough, the roughest, because last Sunday I watched The Expendables 4. It's as awful as you've heard. It's as awful as I've told you. It's as awful as anyone else has told you. It is truly, truly awful. It is the worst movie. It beat The Blackening. It beat The Blackening as the worst film of the year, which is no small feat. But yeah, it's awful. And keep in mind, if you watch Expendables 4 and you watch the creator, Expendables 4 is a whole $20 million more expensive. So just keep that in mind. On top of that, I watched this film that I missed at Venice because the LFF screenings already started. So I watched The Beast, starring Leah Seydoux and George Mackay. It is a very ambitious film. It is a very experimental film in ways, but it's also a very goes nowhere, redundant, completely forgettable, and not engaging to sit through kind of film. It's very interesting at all points to like go through these motions and see, oh, where are you going with all these big broad ideas? It goes really nowhere interesting. It goes really nowhere obvious, and it's a 2 hour and 30-minute film. So if you're gonna do a long film, make sure your ending is not obvious, your messages are not obvious and written all over the place, and this film fails at that. On top of that, I was in the mood, so I rewatched it this morning. Saw 2, because it's on Netflix, the first 2 films, and it's a really fun film. I think I always like it slightly less than I remember, because whenever I start rewatching Saw 2, I'm like, this is better than I remember. And then when it all comes together, it's good, but it's just not as good as I want it to be. Where I don't care really for any of the characters. That's the thing. It just becomes a little bit, there are way too many characters in this trap, in this game. And then Eric Matthews, Donnie Wahlberg's character, is just not that compelling a character. I think it would have really worked better if Daniel was the main character and not really more of a plot device through this film. Still, the twist works. The reveal of Amanda being Jigsaw's apprentice really works. It still has that atmosphere. So it's a good film. It's high up on the ranking of the franchise. On top of that, I'm going to have Gen V. This is a really good show that I didn't quite love. There are story problems that I have all through the show. What it really excels, like Zach said, is character. The characters are awesome. There's just something to like. There's something particular and individual and specific about them that stands out in the group dynamic. And so if you're going to watch the show, you might not fall in love with the story, but you fall in love with the characters very, very easily. On top of that, I'm going to have Saw X. I've waited 13 years to like a Saw film, and it's back. This is one of the better Saw films in the franchise. This is my horror franchise. Every fan of the Halloweens and the Nightmares on Elm Street and the Friday the 13th, they've stood with all these franchises throughout their lives, and they all admit it. There are movies in those franchises that suck, but they still stand by them. I'm that way with Saw. And I like most of them more than most people. This is a genuinely good movie, and it's a great addition to the franchise on top of that. On top of Saw X, I'm going to have Ahsoka. Ahsoka this week was really good. It's not as strong as the last 2 episodes, but it is probably my number 3 favorite episode of the show. Love these characters. Love seeing Thrawn in all his full glory. Love seeing that they did not cheapen out on his characterization. It's just glorious to have one of my favorite characters in all of fiction back on screen and finally in live action. On top of that, I'm going to have The Creator. This is a fantastic film. Go watch it. It's a genuinely emotional, compelling, rich script with great ideas, fantastic themes, wonderful performances, brilliant music from Hans Zimmer, jaw-dropping cinematography, visuals, world building. It has all the things you want in a sci-fi film, be it original or a franchise. It really doesn't matter. I'm happy it's original, but all those things are what elevate this film to one of the best of the year. On top of that, look, I still can't make a review because there's still no trailer, but LFF screened Hitman, and I went to see it again. This is going to be in my top 10 of the year. I highly doubt it's going to get pushed out by anything. I love this film so much. It is so funny. It is so sexy. It's just so good all around. It does all the things it commits to very right. On top of that, number 1, because there's something else I watched that I cannot rank, but we'll talk on Monday. Come to the channel on Monday, and we'll talk about the best thing I watched this past week. But my number 1 for now is the original Saw. This is one of the greatest horror films of all time. It is the film that made me actually fall in love with the genre. And I've just endured with this franchise for better or worse, like a toxic relationship, for the better part of not quite 20 years, because I didn't start watching them as they came out. But I think I watched the first one around the time 3 was out. So 17 years I've been with this franchise. And this one just holds up. All the ingenuity of low budget filmmaking, of craftsmanship, atmosphere, the music is legendary. I really love this. And I know, what's his name? Lee Whannell, he gets a lot of shit for his acting, which I think has flaws. I think there are obvious moments of, that wasn't too good. But overall, he's quite a good actor, particularly that
Mhm.
final scream when Jigsaw goes to close the door. Come on, man. You
Game
feel
over.
chills. No, no. That's a really, the man has got a scream in him that is unforgettable. So,
Yep.
Saw, baby. Saw got beat by something that is under embargo. So again, we'll talk on Monday. You come back on Monday and we'll talk about it. All right. Highlighting some of your weekly rankings, we got Eric Thorpe reviews. Number 1, The Creator. Number 2, Ahsoka. Number 3, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Number 4, Star Wars: The Bad Batch. Number 5, The Continental. And number 6, The Expendables. The Continental and Expendables are exactly where they belong, my friend. Here we go. GGOVP. Number 9, Rush Hour. Number 8, The Creator. Emotionally Hollow. Oh, wow. I disagree. No One Will Save You. Have you gotten around to see this one?
Is that the Hulu one?
Yes.
No. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna watch it one day before the end of the year. But
one day.
all I keep hearing about is the ending, and
yeah.
I think that's
it's
the
not
thing
like
that's holding
it's
me
not
back.
like it's not the climax of the story. It's literally the final scene.
Can I ask you one thing? So
Yes.
I want Cynthia to watch this with me, but she hates dumb endings. Like dumb endings.
It's not that it's dumb. It's not that it's dumb.
So why do people hate it?
I will say that. I don't know.
Did you hate it?
No, I really liked it. I didn't quite love it, but
okay.
I really liked it.
Is it like a
very
twist?
good movie.
Is it like a twist? Like...
No, it's not a twist. It's the approach and really how they resolve the emotional conflict of the character. That's about how
I want to watch it with her. I don't know. I think she'll get pissed at the ending because
with all the problems one can have with the ending, and there are my big issue with the film is the ending. Like it's not dumb. That's not the problem.
Okay.
All right. Number 6, Bottoms, which I would very much put No One Will Save You above that. Number 5, Conan O'Brien Can't Stop. I don't know what this is. Number 4, Rush Hour. Oh, Rush Hour 3 is in last. Okay. Rush Hour. Number 3, Talk to Me. Number 2, Rush Hour 2. That is the best Rush Hour, but Rush Hour 3 does have the best joke in the franchise. And number 1, Past Lives, which is a very good movie. Very, very good movie. All right. With that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, the WGA, I fucked that up. The WGA strike is over. The writers have arranged a fair deal. They've won all the things the studios 100 and something days ago said they will never give up on. That would take away, for context, reminder, 0.01% of their total earnings of the CEOs. They said, we will never give this up. The WGA won. They got fair deals. So applause to them. I'm so happy, obviously, that they can go back to work because we want more movies. We want more TV shows. But they can earn a living doing their fucking jobs. It's not too much to ask for, or at least it shouldn't be. But let's go through the specifics. And I very specifically titled this video that the WGA strike is over. But what everyone is talking about is that it's over. They can go back to work. They've started working over this past week since the deal was signed and was made official. But the SAG strike is still going. They're meeting on Monday For all we know, the SAG strike is ending on Monday. But until it does, it's a matter of will the writers start going to work. Because
And
plans,
yeah,
schedules already
I
sent out, but will they? Because they
I
will
did want
stand
to
in solidarity
mention
with the actors.
yeah, and I did
Go
want to
ahead, go
mention
ahead.
that the video game actors are also
Oh
currently
yeah,
on
that's true.
they authorized for a strike, but they are still at the negotiating table. So it's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
early stages, but that could be a possible thing
yeah.
where you start to see game delays for next year. And don't be surprised if in the coming months to year, like we're not out of this strike. Like the studios still have to deal with animation because
Yeah.
animation's contracts are coming up as well as visual effects.
Mhm.
And I'm going to tell you right now, Ren, I want to ask you what do you think the high chances
Chaos.
of those two going on strike?
Uh, Animation. I'm just not too sure because I haven't seen like too many details on it. VFX, 100%. Like
How long do you think
prepare
it
for the
lasts
worst.
though?
It depends because what are the demands, and
Yeah.
will the studios be, will the CEOs and the studios like be fatigued and just say fine, or will they be like, no, we've given up too much already, we cannot concede anymore, fuck you. Like, I don't know what they're gonna say.
Dude, I'm
I don't
telling
know
you right
like the
now,
state of mind,
like,
but it's
do
gonna
you
be
think Kevin
chaos.
Feige is just like Oppenheimer half the time now? Like they had COVID and then they had Bob Chapek and they
I feel
had
sorry for the
this.
man. I feel sorry for that. But I will say this. I want to call out the outlets there who put out Marvel VFX work. Like, Marvel doesn't have VFX workers.
Mhm.
VFX are companies that studios go out and hire. And when you see the credits in a film, there are like 4, 5, 6 different VFX companies that work in each film, and none of them are Marvel VFX. Okay?
Do you think it's kind of wild that they don't have it in house yet there? Like they just don't
No, because
hire.
that's just not how it works. That's
Okay.
just not how it works.
Like studios can't do that
It
or
it like, why would you? It's money that will come out of your pocket. Like,
yeah.
it's consistent labor. Like, you can't. I hate to say this, but if you go out, you because it's basically a lottery. Marvel goes out and says, "We got Thunderbolts, VFX for Thunderbolts," and all the VFX houses, they will bid on it. Like, we want this because we want it
And who gives the cheaper
on our
deal with the better
portfolio.
options?
Yeah, exactly. So they will all underbid, and the studio, in this case, for the example, Marvel will say, "Oh, these guys are the cheapest ones. Let's go with them because we don't need
See,
to pay too
so
much."
that's where it also sucks though, because I mean, if they're underbidding, like the problem can also be who their leadership is. Like all the leaderships shouldn't be
In
underbidding at the same time. Like there should be um a base level. Like I feel like if your movie
I agree.
um like there should be a base level. Like we cannot go
Yeah,
under this amount.
yeah,
I would just be
I agree.
curious on how you figure out that amount. Like you can't just say Marvel and DC because there's
Yeah.
other blockbusters out there. And then you can't say, "Oh, well the movie has to be $200 million to do this," because
Mhm.
look at the creator, it's 80 million. I don't know how big their CGI team was, but I mean, I can imagine that it was either really good and really small or something of that nature. So,
Yeah, it's fantastic in that sense. But basically, for the VFX, think about it as, instead of like VFX houses, think about them as actors. Actors don't belong to a studio. They're not signed exclusively to a studio. Studios go out and say, "Hey, we want you to work on our film," and the
mhm.
actor comes in. But the actor themselves are like independent. So think of the VFX houses like that. You know,
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
it's like when Jonah Hill, when they asked Jonah Hill to be the Penguin, he wanted more than they were willing to pay. So they were like, "Okay, we don't want Jonah Hill. Hey, Colin Farrell, will you take this contract for this price?" And he said yes. So they hired him. So that's basically how it works. But the point of this initial conversation is, writers can go back to work. The schedules are there, but will they? Or will they stay in solidarity with the actors? Will they stay in solidarity with animation? Will they stay in solidarity with VFX workers and with the video game actors? Trouble times are still ahead, my friends. That's the essential point. But Zach, run us through what not what the VFX artists won. They still haven't won anything yet. Hopefully soon. But what the writers have won with their new contracts.
All right. So starting up, here are the basics. These are basics. There's obviously probably more little bit of finer details, but this is just the
Mhm.
basics of what me and Ren would understand as two people who outside of all this. So first off, higher pay. The 3-year film and TV contracts raised by basic wages by 5% in the first year, 4% in year 2, and 3.5% in year 3. So imagine in 3 years we might be back in a strike again if the studios
Yeah.
cost this bullshit. But they get select residual bases, and minimums will get lower increases or single increases, the guild said. Anything you want to mention on that? They're getting paid
What I
more,
what I
basically.
will mention briefly about what you said, like in 3 years we could be here again. We probably won't, much like we hadn't been in a writer's strike since 2008. Because you look of how television, it's TV and movies, but the biggest point of contention was TV. How TV worked back in 2008. Look at how TV works now. It is vastly different. Like it is an entire different reality how TV worked in 2008 and how it works now. So that's how we ended up in this strike, because it's so different and studios were still attempting to work and making contracts with their writers, with people trying to make a living through a very archaic sense of establishment, a very
Yep.
archaic way of viewing things and of counting numbers and of paying people. Like TV has vastly changed, so the methods of how people are compensated for their work have to change as well. And there weren't contracts for that yet. Now there are. Until TV drastically changes again, we should be good. So again, I'm not saying we will not be on strike 3 years from now. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we probably won't, because I highly doubt TV changes again, where
That's
it feels
true.
like the entire multiverse has been rewritten
They'll
3
pretty
years
much
from
just
now.
have to increase like their salaries
Yeah,
again, which I think
exactly.
the biggest thing they were fighting against was AI
Yeah,
and streaming bonuses and residuals.
100%.
So, which is the next step, streaming bonuses and data. So, just this is like the biggest thing that I know they wanted to fight for, this, the staffing and AI. And this was the one that I think was going back and forth the most, because it seems like the studios didn't want to share the data. And I think in a lot of different ways, they don't get, it's not like regular TV where they're getting money every time someone streams a show. They get
Yeah.
money by people signing up and things like that. So this is the best outcome they could possibly get, because now shows that blow up out of nowhere, such as what's a Netflix show that I feel like blew up out of nowhere? Like it didn't really get a lot of advertising, but then it
Squid
like
Game.
just came. Which one? Squid Game. So Squid Game, if it were to come out, I don't know, next month, and it blew up out of nowhere.
It is coming out next month. The new one, the
Oh
the reality
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. So So the contract establishes a system of providing bonuses to writers based on viewerships and streaming services. We'll probably see something similar to actors as well. Writers
Mm,
already received residuals from the shows made for streaming services, but the WGA wanted to establish a system that would reward scribes if their work drew huge viewerships on Netflix, for example. The way compensation is typically worked on streaming is that the producers get paid up front but don't get to participate in the wins. The guild sought to change that in service of this goal. The WGA wanted streamers to be more transparent with viewership data, which was like a central issue of the strike. This contract allows the WGA to receive confidential viewership metrics, which will absolutely leak out. For original
yeah.
streaming shows based on hours viewed, aggregated data can be shared. So I'll tell you this is going to be huge, because, we always hear Netflix go, Heart of Stone, best opening
Yeah.
viewership weekend for Gal Gadot. I wonder how much of those numbers are bullshit. And I can't wait to
Yeah.
see, because as much as I say confident, it's gonna leak out. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like we're
It's
finally
gonna
gonna get to see what these
and it's
movies
gonna
are
be
at.
hilarious. It's gonna be
Oh yeah,
fucking hilarious.
yeah, dude. What's a big one coming up? Rebel Moon. I'm not
Oh
saying
yeah.
it's gonna, but like, can you imagine if it popped out and it's like,
Well, Rebel Moon is only probably not the best example because it's going to get a theatrical release beforehand.
Mm.
So I'm sure a lot of people are still going to
Oh,
like
Pain
watch it
Hustlers.
and
Let's
rewatch.
let's
Pain
mention that
Hustlers.
one.
Pain Hustlers is a good one.
Yeah, that's a better one. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. And
Yeah.
what I'm interested in though, and I don't really get this deal for so that show Suits, which is like now the
Mm.
highest streamed show of all time. How does that help those writers? Like, do they now get like a
It's a
streaming
more
bonus?
complicated one because
That one's the one
that is one that was on regular broadcast TV. Like it started like not
yeah,
long after the last writer's strike, and has kept going, and then found new life. Clearly, even a better life,
dude.
perhaps on
Every person I talk
Netflix.
to watches it except me. So
Same,
oh,
same.
so we're the only two. So, but that's my thing. Like now, do the writers get a bonus from
I
those?
have no. I would love to see like an interview or an article about the specific understanding of
Because
these
I've seen
shows
the
that find
money
new life.
amounts,
Yeah.
but it's these shows, yeah, or like Breaking Bad, like
Yeah.
like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, like all those shows found life on Netflix, not
Yeah.
on
What
TV.
and The Office, which was always the most
Exactly,
watched thing on Netflix, and Friends, which was always the most watched thing on HBO. No, it was also the most watched thing on Netflix, and they
Netflix,
kept
yeah.
a contract
That's how I
for over a
watched it.
year.
That's how I
Yeah.
watched it for the first
Same.
time.
Same.
So it's very interesting. That's the one I don't get how that works.
Yeah.
Because I do think that is something that needs to be addressed. There's not a single reason why the creators of Suits, like the writers, should not be, and even the actors too, should not be
Yeah.
getting heavy residuals from that. Because there
No.
are probably people who are getting Netflix because they heard their friends say, "Oh, I'm watching Suits. It's on Netflix. You should watch it." So
Yeah. I agree.
up
So
next, oh,
yes.
if you had
Sorry, I
more,
forgot you. No. I
I
forgot
have
you
two
still
more.
had more. Please go.
So next, minimum staffing. The contract sets minimum staffing requirements for TV writer rooms depending on the length of the season for series with up to 6 episodes. This is going to get nervous wracking because I do feel
Yeah.
before we get any further that streamers are going to be like, all right, 6 episode seasons. That's it. Nothing more. Maybe even
Yeah.
less than that. 3 writers must be hired, for example, for a show of 13 or more episodes per season, minimum staffing, and 6 writers, including 3 writer producers. The minimum employment of writers per episode applies to a green-lighted show, unless a single writer is employed to write all episodes of a season, the document said. So this would be something like Mike Flanagan, who would go out and write Haunting of Hill House by himself. He wouldn't be contractually obligated to go and bring on a bunch of other writers, even though he still does
Exactly.
most of the time for his other
Hmm.
shows, but he's one of those, and I think there's a couple others that I would like
Taylor
point out there
Sheridan.
that Taylor Sheridan, yeah. One of the biggest complaints among screenwriters going into the contract negotiations was that in streaming era, TV seasons have gotten shorter and writer rooms have shrunk. Oh, that's probably still going to happen, sadly.
Yeah.
At least the first part. That has meant fewer opportunities for writers who have to cobble together one job after another to make a living. Which I'll tell you this, Ren, I think that's why Disney Plus always has this 6-episode bullshit. Like even before, I think that's why. So
Yeah.
this has meant that the increased use of mini rooms is in which teams of writers break down a season of a show before production starts has limited the ability of early career writers to gain experience on TV production. So hopefully this doesn't work. Like I wonder how the WGA like battles this. Like
Mhm.
if someone pitches a show as a 12 episode miniseries and HBO's like, nah, you got to make it 6 if you want us to do it. Then they go to Netflix and Netflix does the same thing. And it's just
Honestly, I
like,
don't know that HBO like I'm with you. I think a lot of studios are going to be like 6 episodes, 8 episodes, not more. But I think if there's an outlier on that, it's HBO.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
But new ideas. Like, I'm not saying The Last of Us Part 2
Yeah.
is going to be 6 episodes.
No, no,
If
no, no,
anything,
no.
it should be 10. It should be
Yeah,
10.
100%.
But
Yeah, that's the if The Last of Us has any issues, which it doesn't, it's the fact that it's not 10 episodes. Make it 8. Like if you're gonna have 9 episodes, make it 8 for fuck's sake. Like 9
yeah,
makes no sense.
exactly. So, yeah, it's very interesting, man. I'm excited to see what they do with this, but I'm also really nervous because it just
Hmm.
like at this point, like Ahsoka should have been 12 episodes in my eyes. I think Ahsoka should have been 12. I
I
think
don't know that it
Andor
needs
had the good
12,
amount. Oh, really?
I would give it 10.
Okay. What are some other seasons that you feel like should have had more episodes?
Uh, hmm.
I'd say Moon Knight. I would have given 8.
I don't know that Moon Knight needs it.
Hmm.
Like I love Moon Knight, so I wouldn't complain. But like a
Okay.
show that needed it, Ms. Marvel, because Ms. Marvel halfway through, it wasn't
Yeah.
even that I'd give it 8 episodes. It's that I would completely cut away like the fat that it has in the middle because it goes away in all these different directions. It's like, what are you doing? You only have 6 episodes.
Yep.
Um, Boba Fett, I just wouldn't
Oh,
make that show. Mandalorian, again, the problem, season 3, the problem wasn't that it only had 8 episodes. What's another Disney Plus one? Like She-Hulk, the problem wasn't the number of episodes, too little or too much. Hawkeye, again, the issues I have with that show are very complex. Falcon and Winter Soldier, for sure. Falcon and Winter Soldier, 8
WandaVision, I would
minimum.
have given one more too. I would have
Yeah,
given one
that's
more to
fair.
Wanda.
That's fair.
Trying
Yeah,
to
off the
think
top of my
what else.
head, that's it.
Kenobi should not have been a show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but that shouldn't have been a show. It's not more episodes. They're gonna fix it. It's make it a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was them. All right, last thing. Artificial intelligence. The new WGA contract includes language that regulates the studio's use of AI, but also provides flexibility to guild members to use it. Companies must disclose to writers if any material given to a writer has been generated by AI or incorporates AI generated material according to the guild's documents. The use of artificial intelligence has become a fraught topic in the entertainment industry, with studios finding ways to make the development and production process more efficient. The rapid rise of ChatGPT and other examples of generative AI technology has taken center stage for writers who believe such efficiencies threaten screenwriters' employment. This was among the final and most difficult deal points to hammer out. Neither side wants to lock itself into contract language that would backfire in 3 years. So I know this is still one thing that wasn't like officially signed on completely. There's still some language. Dan Merle, I think, had the best video that I watched that really dove into everything.
Okay.
And this, so I do recommend, but when they got to artificial intelligence, this is something that they're like, no one's really using it yet, but let's revisit this when this actually happens, and then we
Okay.
can negotiate further. Or if it doesn't happen in the next 3 years, we just come back to the negotiating table, and this will probably be the big point of contention in 3 years, I imagine.
Okay.
So
All right. Makes sense. I don't have much to say about this other than good. Keep AI away. The power of films, why we all connected to this, why we all love it, because at the core, the best ones, they're human stories. If you take the human element out of the writing room from the very moment a movie is born or the idea of a film is born, you're destroying it. It's not even being born, the film. Like it dies right there. It's DOA. So anything that can keep AI away from taking writers' jobs, from making movies, from attempting to create any sort of meaningful art, keep it away. So good. Good. I'm just happy it has nothing to do with that. So yeah. Those are just my thoughts on that last point. I think it's the easiest one to tackle, the easiest one to discuss.
I'm okay with that. So that's about
You're
it
okay with
now.
that?
Yeah.
All right, everyone. That does it for our discussion on the end of the WGA strike. But again, let's be very happy for the writers. But let's not throw out the fireworks overall just yet. Because the tides are very turbulent. Very turbulent. All right. Who's gonna start with the question, Zach? You or me?
I can. I just refreshed
Go
it.
ahead.
The Master of Gaming. Now that the writer strike is over and the actor strike is over this week, do you think Warner Brothers regrets delaying Dune Part 2 to next year?
Yes and no. Yes. Hindsight is always 2020. So if they knew the writer strike is gonna end right before October, they'd be like, okay, let's not delay it. But at the same time, one of the and I still think it was a mistake. It was a big mistake to delay Dune Part 2. Their biggest reason was they want to cast to promote it. And again, as things stand right now, the actors are still striking. Again, on Monday, it could end. So, oops, they fucked up again, Warner Brothers. But as of right now, the actors are still striking. So, their twisted reasoning to delay Dune Part 2 is still there. So,
I think it's still.
technically,
It doesn't do as well. I think it still would have succeeded
it
there, even without the
it doesn't
cast.
do as well. It will not do as well on awards, on box office. They
I
cut
mean,
it.
look at Oppenheimer and
They cut
I
it
know Barbie
substantially.
had some interviews prior to it, but in my
So did
opinion, like,
Oppenheimer.
yeah, but not a lot. I mean,
More than you realize.
yeah. You know who I could
Like
see moving their film back? Craven. I could see Craven coming back now.
yeah, but that's because no one cares about it.
I know. I don't care. Dune should come back though, but I think it's too
I
late.
agree.
I think it's too late. It would
Yeah.
cost them more money to bring it back.
They have
and-
no shot. They have no
Yeah.
shot.
But now, if we don't get Dune Part 3, I will forever blame Warner Brothers. So
Yes. Dune Messiah. Bring it.
Yeah.
All right. Next up. Also from the Master of Gaming, with Apple partnering with Paramount with Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, Sony would release Scott's Napoleon, and Universal with Matthew Vaughn's Argyle. I did not know about this Universal.
yeah,
you
I was
think
kind of
Apple
weirded.
should
I was
partner-
weirded out by that. I found that
Yeah.
out on Tuesday because the rep that handles Universal stuff is different than the rep that handles Apple stuff, and she
Mhm.
emailed me about Argyle, and I was like,
Ah.
wait, do you have? I messaged her. I was like, do you have Apple now? And she goes, no, they're doing this shit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Okay. Do you think Apple should partner with Disney and WB with Spellbound, starring Rachel Zegler, produced by John Lasseter and Scott Derrickson's The Gorge, respectively? I don't know, because I don't know in terms of the respectively. Like, should they partner with Disney and Warner Brothers? Like, for what reason those two specifically? What I agree with that Apple is doing very well is that they should partner with these wider studios to give films wide theatrical releases, because that's always best for your movies long run. Everyone is talking about Napoleon because it's going to theaters. Everyone is talking about Killers of the Flower Moon because it's going to
And
theaters.
it's actually projecting pretty well, like more
Yeah.
than I would have ever expected.
And after it does its normal, regular theatrical release, once it goes to streaming, it's all on Apple. Now everyone has heard about this film that played in theaters, even if you don't go see it. When it's on streaming, oh, I heard about Napoleon. Oh, I heard about Killers of the Flower Moon. Now it's on Apple. All right, I guess I'll get Apple because I want to see these films. Because the word of mouth is much stronger. It's much more positive in general. And there's a sense of prestige. If you just drop it on Netflix, on Apple, on anything, like Coda didn't do particularly well in streaming. It's a fantastic movie. Flora and Son isn't doing particularly well in streaming. Like, it's not standing out. It's there. Those of us who like follow this shit, we know. But the casual audience, they know when shit goes to the films. So after those films they've heard about for so long and so much, they go to streaming, that's when they know where to find these films. So that's always smart. So whether they team up with Disney, with Warner Brothers, with Paramount, doesn't matter which studio they team up with. As long as they team up with a studio, I absolutely think they should do it. Zach?
Yeah, Netflix, you should take note.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why, but yeah, I think it's very smart. I hope these movies are good. I only have hope for one. I'll tell you that right now, because I know people who have seen the other two. But I'm not going to say which ones. So,
well, I know which one people are loving because I know someone who's seen it at Cannes.
I don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about.
We'll talk about it after the show. All right, what's next?
The Master of Gaming. Do you think Deadpool 3 will make its release date now that the actor strike might be over this week? No. I think Deadpool 3 gets pushed back again, but I think it takes the spot of Captain America 4 in July, I think, and Captain America 4 gets bumped up. Because Captain America's filming is done. The reason it was pushed is because of visual effects. So, and I know they have a couple reshoots to do, no matter maybe how big those are. Maybe nothing hits May. But if I were a betting man, Captain America 4 moves back up and Deadpool moves to July. What about you?
It's too early to tell. Remember last month, or a little over a month, I believe, when the writers were like, we're going to meet with the AMPTP again, and it all went downhill again. Monday might be the same for the actors. I hope it's not. But who knows? Because the question is, make its release date now that the actor strike might be over. It's too loaded a question. It's an if on top of an if. So it's too early to tell. If the writer's strike ends on Monday, I think there's a chance it still keeps that date. I think there's a chance. I'm not saying it keeps that date.
Yeah,
but
because it's not
we'll
like
see-
Sean
we'll see
Levy
on Monday.
hasn't been working on it.
Yeah,
It's not
no,
like
no,
they
no,
haven't
no.
been doing visual effect. Anything else they could
No.
do, they were doing. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, 100%.
So, all right, man.
Let me just refresh.
I have the next one. If you want.
Demination and Scott,
Yeah.
thoughts on the Halloween rights at A24? I'm tapped out of the Halloween franchise, honestly. Like, the correct term isn't emotionally speaking, but I'm not sure I'll check this show out, to be honest. I'm just not too interested. The Halloween franchise has worn me down. And again, I'm talking about my horror franchise is Saw. It's not Halloween. So if anyone who's been with this franchise for as long as it's been out there and they've fallen in love with horror because of this franchise, I completely get why you'd still be on board with Halloween. I'm personally just completely indifferent to it. I don't care. I don't find anything interesting about it going to A24 or keeping itself at Blumhouse. I'm very indifferent to it. That's a very boring answer, but that's just how I feel. Zach?
You know, I
He's
love
considering.
the original Halloween.
Oh, the
Michael
original is
Myers.
fantastic.
A24 doing it, I'm open to. They're doing a TV show, but it depends who's the creatives, who's the writers, who's the directors. And if I
Who
were
is in the
them,
writer's room?
yeah, I'd rather have it be an anthology show, where every episode takes place on Halloween night, and maybe you do the first episode as Michael Myers, and then that sets in stone weird Halloween nights going forward. I don't know. You have to do something different. I don't want them going back to Laurie Strode once again. I don't know. There's a lot of ideas that you could do. In fact, I wouldn't even mind if they like played on like the supernatural aspect of Michael Myers a little bit, but like do it in their own vein. It's really gonna depend. I actually preferred if Paramount, because it was rumored Paramount was trying to get them. I was actually more leaning towards Paramount buying it, but A24 is a great choice. I love A24. So, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. So,
All right. What's next?
Lady Aaron, even though the SAG actors strike is going on, do you think there's a possibility of more movies getting delayed or not?
Still going on right now. It's not even though, it's because of it still going on that more movies might get delayed. So yes, but it's not in spite of the strike going on. It's because the strike is still going on. Zach?
Yeah. I mean, that's about it. So.
All right. Lady Aaron also asks, over the week, the Harry Potter community lost an incredible person in Michael Gambon, who played Dumbledore in the movies. What was your favorite Dumbledore moment in the Harry Potter movies? Yeah, that was really sad. It was a full life. Let's just acknowledge that. He was 82 and he did many more things than Harry Potter, but to me, he'll always be Dumbledore. I'll tell you this, like I grew up with the Harry Potter movies. I was there in the cinema for the first one. I was there in the cinema for the last one. Michael Gambon is my favorite Dumbledore. I love what he brought to this character, and I love the moral complexity of the character. He was shady, he was dark, but he was also benevolent. He was kind, he was empathetic. One of my favorite moments of Dumbledore, there's not a specific one, but there's something apart from Chamber of Secrets, there's always something reassuring about that final lesson he imparts on Harry before he goes home until the next school year starts. And whenever the movies come to an end, even in the darkest times, and even before he dies in Half-Blood Prince, he takes one last moment to impart a lesson to Harry and help him grow up through this coming of age saga. And it's just a very comforting presence that he brought to screen. So, R.I.P. Michael Gambon, and thank you for everything, sir. Zach?
Yeah, no. Everything you said, I agree and more. Favorite moment? I don't really have one because he had too many, but basically all of Half Blood Prince was just like everything I could want. Like just having a
that's
full
his
Dumbledore
movie.
and yeah. And honestly, I remember I would have probably nominated him for that movie. I thought
also in Order of the Phoenix when he comes in to fight Voldemort at the end.
Yeah,
fucking badass.
It's so good, and he just brought such a great presence to it. So yeah, he'll be missed.
To everything he did, honestly.
Yeah,
everything he did.
Good luck.
Also, he's in
a Warner Brothers.
Yeah, he's in a fantastic episode of Doctor Who too. He's in the Doctor Who adaptation of A Christmas Carol, where he's basically the Scrooge. How fucking dare you? How fucking dare you? He's in the Christmas Carol adaptation, and he's basically the Scrooge in the story, and
that's funny.
Awesome. It's wonderful.
I'm sure he plays that perfectly. Which doctor was it? Which doctor?
Matt Smith, baby. Matt Smith. Okay. It's the best Christmas special. And when I say wait a second.
Did you break?
Yes, something started playing on my VLC because I touched my headphones. So when I say the best Christmas special, there's one thing I noticed, and this is a quick rabbit trail I'm going off on, but whenever an American TV show has a Christmas special, it's usually an isolated fluff of an episode that doesn't really matter. In British TV shows, when you have a Christmas special, it's usually one that they go all out. Like, it's a celebrated thing over here to have a Christmas special. So when I say it's one of the best episodes of Doctor Who, it's not one of the best episodes despite being a Christmas special. It's just one of the best episodes because they always incorporate those so well into any British TV show, really. All right, what's next?
A lot of it's all for you about Ed Sheeran. So, Ren, yesterday Ed Sheeran released his new album, Autumn Variations. What are your thoughts on the album? Have you listened to it? Where would you rank it? What are your favorite tracks? This is from Lady Aaron.
Not doing rankings like off the top of my head, but if you remember, I like the album he released earlier this year. This is better. This is a very good album. I really like this. Some of my favorites, tracks. That's on Me is very good. When Will I Be Alright is excellent. The Day I Was Born is wonderful. This is a very, very strong album. I really, really like this. Divide is still the best album, like bar none. Like there's just nothing that touches it, honestly. But yeah, really, really good album. Lady Aaron also asks, over the past couple weeks, I saw 2 movies in Ferris Bueller's Day Off and The Breakfast Club for the first time ever, and I can see why they remain as 80s classic, were some very popular movies from the 80s that you have surprisingly never seen before. You'd have to give me a list, because like when I do these things of, I surprisingly never seen this film, like I research it. Off the top of my head, I don't know what from the 80s I've never seen. Unless you count, I don't remember if they're from the 80s, but I've only ever seen the first Nightmare on Elm Street. I've never seen any of the others. So if any of the others are from the 80s, I've never seen any of the others. Zach?
I've never seen Blue Velvet.
Ooh, okay. I've never seen Blue Velvet either.
I just pulled up 80s movies. That's a big one. Maybe let me see if I can find. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I've never seen.
I've never seen it, but I can't say I have any interest.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right. What's next?
If you can only pick 5 living composers that you'd love to see in a live concert conducting the music to their own movies, who would you pick and which and why?
Wait, only 5 living.
You can pick
Well,
5
number one
composers.
is Hans Zimmer, John Williams, Michael Giacchino.
I'd probably do Daniel Pemberton.
That's a good one. It's a good one. Alan Silvestri, because he's gonna play the Avengers theme.
Dude, I would do Danny Elfman. I think.
Oh,
he would be fun.
I don't know that he would be fun. I don't know that I do.
No,
do
wait.
Danny Elfman
I gotta
myself.
take that back. I gotta do Randy Newman, Toy Story, my boy. So
I gotta go Alan Menken because of all the Disney stuff he's made.
It's a good pick. Oh man, dude, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Oh, that's a good pull. That'd
be good. All right. Here, you got the next one?
Yes.
I got it.
With the release of Saw X, where would you put Saw X in your personal ranking of the Saw movies? Would it be one of the best, one of the worst, or right in the middle? It's one of the best. Like I said in the beginning on our weekly ranking, it's my number 3 because I slightly prefer to. It's a very minimal gap between it and Saw 2, but I just slightly prefer it because I prefer the main character in Saw X much more than the protagonist in Saw 2. So it's Saw 6, Saw X, Saw 2. The rest kind of fluctuates. Spiral and Jigsaw are god awful. They're at the bottom. But go check out my ranking on Letterboxd. I have it all there.
Jigsaw,
and Zach
in the timeline, is technically number 1, right? Chronologically, from my memory.
One of the storylines, yes. The other storyline is like far past everything.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I bet you have a ranking video coming though.
I actually don't, because I didn't have time to. What I wanted to do yesterday was watch. So I wanted to watch the first one, then watch Saw X, then watch the rest of the franchise, then get the ranking out by Sunday. Do the personal things. I can't binge them all this weekend. And then next week's just busy. And then I was going to watch them yesterday, but then a screener came in that I know you also got, and I binged all those instead yesterday. So can't talk about those till Monday.
Very good. Yes, we'll see you on Monday. I'm very excited to talk about.
I'll probably still watch them. So just kind of, I have a ranking on my Letterboxd right now, but that's going to shift a lot once I start watching them all again. So,
all right, what's next?
This one I think is the one you mentioned to me.
Yes, this one. I just saw which one it is. This one is for you.
I actually did this yesterday on Twitter, so let me pull it up.
Actually, let me answer first. Given the games of 2023 that I've played, how many is it? 6?
Yeah.
So mine would be Star Wars Jedi Survivor, 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 and I think Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
And what about Spider-Man 2? Even though you haven't played it, you could just...
I haven't played it yet, but I haven't pre-ordered, but I haven't played it yet.
So, this is no personal preference at all. This is... I actually, like, when I did this tweet yesterday, I went and looked at every game I'd played, games I hadn't played, and kind of just decided on this. So, at number 1, like, I'm pretty sure this one's gonna win anyways. It doesn't matter. Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. The game is absolutely phenomenal.
It feels like it came out longer ago.
It's still my favorite game of the year. As of right now, it was something else, but then they did some updates and this kind of went back up. This game is almost. I mean, it's one of the best experiences I've ever had playing a game. This year has been really great for gaming too. Whether it's this, Starfield, which I'm not going to include on this list, even though I think Starfield's great. I will. I'm actually going to include Starfield, so let me take that back. So let's just go number 2. I'll say Starfield. It's not on my tweet, but I'm going to put it on there. Starfield is a unique RPG experience. It's Bethesda, so it's easily going to get on there just because of that. I don't think it wins though because it is a little bit buggy. It's old school. So yeah. 3, Spider-Man 2. I haven't played it, I know people who are playing it right now. I talked to them. So I'd be kind of
Bastards.
shocked if it didn't. I'll tell you right now, I'd be shocked if it didn't get nominated. Next up, Baldur's Gate 3. This is, I have still not beaten this game, but this is one of the best RPGs of all time story wise. It is turn based. I'm not a huge fan of turn based combat unless it's Pokemon, but the story choices you get to make in here, it's like playing D&D by yourself. And I've never played D&D with friends, but it's kind of fun to play it by yourself and go off on all these adventures. Next up is Diablo 4. This was my number one of the year. This would have been my choice. I think it is the best Diablo game. I've played every Diablo game since I was like 3 years old. It's like
That
one of the
also
first
feels
games.
like it came out like last year.
Yeah. But then the only reason it's my number 2 favorite game of the year, it kind of fell. They did a couple updates and I wasn't a big fan of them, but they're trying to fix those updates that they did. And my number
Okay.
6, I don't know how I feel about this being in there, but I think it's going to get nominated. I don't believe it should, but I think it will, and that's Resident Evil 4's remake. I don't believe remakes and remasters or any of that should be nominated for Game of the Year. Now, there's an argument to be made that, yes, the game is technically very different. It just has a lot of similarities. But then I personally don't feel that. So if for some reason the rules divide it that it can't be on there, don't be shocked if Star Wars Jedi Survivor finds its way in there. But then I don't know, it came out very buggy at first, so I don't know if that'll affect it. So then look forward to Armored Core or Liza P personally getting in there because those are 2 really small, surprising games. And the last, like, kind of just random guesses, wouldn't be surprised if Street Fighter got in there. They usually have one fighting game, or Mortal Kombat. Both were heavily
I haven't
praised
started
and
it
all
yet.
sorts of that. I haven't even bought it yet. I'm going to wait till it's cheaper. And then last but not least, as a shout out, there's a couple others like Hi-Fi Rush and some other smaller ones that I think could be in. But if it were up to me, Cyberpunk, the update and the DLC, that's what I've been playing. That's why I've not been watching movies or TV as much. That would be my game of the year. This is what should have came out 3 years ago. I loved what was out 3 years ago, but it's like if I went to Taco Bell 3 years ago and I had a smacking good meal 2 o'clock in the morning. I enjoyed it. My stomach hurt though afterwards. But now you're telling me that Taco Bell is a 5-star restaurant with the best Mexican food in the entire world. That's what the new Cyberpunk is.
So it's a Chipotle, is what you're saying.
I hate Chipotle, so I hate it. I hate Chipotle. It's the most overrated food place.
Oh God, how dare you? How dare you?
No.
How dare you? Every day, whenever it's a screening day, I'm catching.
Is there one
dinner,
next to your theater?
Chipotle.
Is there next one to your
Yes.
theater?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I used to like Chipotle. I think I just got annoyed by like how overly priced they were.
They could be different because, like, I've seen videos where, like, there's a guy from here in the UK, there's a guy from America, and they go over the recipes for like pizza at Domino's, and you see the fucking difference of how they make the same
so it
like
might be
Domino's
just difference
pizza
on that.
here or there. Yeah.
That might be why.
I hate Taco Bell. That's why I was messing with you.
Yeah.
Like, I hate Taco Bell. I think Taco Bell is. It's not
Taco
like,
Bell's
oh,
good.
that's disgusting. It's just like Chipotle is better. Why would I come here if Chipotle is like?
I mean,
This is just
I don't
bland.
blame you. I
Yeah.
almost said something, but I'm still trying to figure out how to say that thing. So I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. You're next. Go.
Okay. Where are we? All right. Lady Erin, if you had to pick any real life location that managed to get into a movie to go to, where would you want to go to the most? So if I could pick any real life location and put it into a movie, or if I could go to any real life location that is in a movie?
I don't get the question, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because if it is a real life location from a movie to go to, I mean, so many, like any real life location that's ever been in a movie, like Australia, which is my dream like destination to visit. But if it is pick a real life location to put into a movie, that's my hometown. Bar none. my hometown. 100%. Like, don't even need to think about it. My hometown to be a part in the movie. So yeah, Zach.
I don't get the question still, so I'm just gonna say I would like to go to Pandora, and that's it.
That's not a real life location that we know
I
of, at least. It
no,
could be.
I call bullshit. James Cameron is leaving, and he goes somewhere with all of his actors. I don't even think it's actors. I just think they put them in
It's
funny
the
suits.
avatars.
Yeah, it's real. It's all
Yeah.
real. I told my
Oh,
friend, like,
oh.
after watching Avatar 2, I turned to him afterwards and I said, bullshit. James Cameron went to a different planet. No fucking way.
That's why he
No
took so
fucking way.
long in making the fucking movie.
Yeah, that's why he had to delay it, because his flight back to Pandora
Yes,
was delayed.
exactly.
So
So I don't know how he's making the other ones so fast.
yeah.
So what's next?
Andrew Seif. It was announced that Marvel's taking pitch meetings for writers to write the new MCU X-Men. Who are some writers you'd like to see that get this gig?
Oh,
Stranger Things writers, the Duffer Brothers. They are
they'd be
someone that
good.
I'd be interested with.
They'd be good. Gen V writers, honestly. And again, it's not even a show I
Yeah.
love, but they understand like dynamics and the discrimination of it
And
all.
giving time to each character, which is like a
Mhm.
big thing they need to do. Like every
Also
character
me.
is pretty well
I'm a
balanced.
good choice.
So technically, it's Eric Kipley, because he's
Oh,
one of the
is it
writers,
also
right?
Kipler? Okay.
I thought he wrote
Kripke.
it. Yeah,
Kripke.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, those are the ones that like jump to mind. Like, I don't know. Okay.
dude,
I'm gonna throw a name out there.
I have a name too. After you're done,
Not a person that like has remotely worked well in the genre, or like not even worked well, not even worked in the genre, but it's a person that does really well with big casts and can create this very cohesive ensemble of characters, of themes, of story. It'd be interesting, really interesting to see him working in the context of X-Men. Mike Flanagan.
okay. I had the same thought.
Okay.
No, I have a different one though, because I was looking. I was like, okay, Mike Flanagan would be an amazing choice. It would be an amazing choice. Edgar Wright, bring him back,
Oh,
have
he'd
him
be
do
good.
it.
He'd be
You know,
good.
have that like long. I still believe he's gonna do something for Kevin one day. Like, it just seems like it needs to happen. A couple others, just as like a point of reference, I
Mhm.
think Craig Mason would do in a really good job. How he handled Chernobyl and how he handled
Oh,
The Last of Us would be
that's a
really
great
interesting to
point.
see how he did that. And I heard,
Supposedly, he did not like he didn't write a script, but he was involved in writing something from Marvel at one point.
I
I'm
wouldn't be
not sure like at
shocked.
which stage. I'm
His
not sure if he was a consultant, if he wrote a treatment, if he was a part of a writer's room. Like, I don't know. But in his episode of the Happy Sad Confused podcast, he alluded to something. And he was very good all through the episode and not like leaking any sensitive information about anything. But there was a moment where he like talked Marvel and he mentioned something very vaguely.
I could see it. I could see it. So, but yeah, those are my choices.
All right. Lady Aaron, have you been watching any good TV shows lately? And what are they, if you have seen any great TV shows? The best one I can't talk about yet. I am watching The Fall of the House of Usher. I've seen Gen V is pretty good. The Continental is not very good. I'm rewatching Digimon, and Digimon is very good. So yeah, Zach.
You can go to my channel and look up my last 10 reviews and find my TV shows I talked about.
Are they all for TV shows?
No,
10
but
reviews?
but
Okay.
like my last 10, at least like 5 of them were Gen V, Fall of the
Okay.
House of Usher,
Gen V, Fall of House
Ahsoka.
Usher. Ahsoka, yeah. Ahsoka's very good. I've been watching
Yeah.
that one too. All right, what's next?
Lady Aaron, what are your favorite and least favorite movies of the following genres? I'm not gonna be able to do this. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, I mean, it's musical sci-fi. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do that.
I can give you my favorites in some of them.
Okay,
Musical,
so
it's La La
musical.
Land.
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi is Blade Runner, tied with Blade Runner 2049. Like they're one
Comedy.
unit.
Comedy, I'll give
Greatest
you.
comedy,
Tropic Thunder.
greatest comedy of all time is Hot Fuzz.
That's a great one.
Biopic,
Biopic.
I don't know off the top of my head. I don't
Oppenheimer.
know.
Drama.
It's up there, honestly. Good shout.
Yeah.
Drama is so
Vague.
general because every
Yeah.
movie is a drama. Like when you think
Mhm.
about it. Romance.
Crazy Stupid
It's-
Love. Or The Big Sick for me.
Ooh. Romance, it's either Your Name or
Your
About
Name's.
Time.
Both of those are great. Both of those are great.
All right. Andrew Seif. James Gunn announced recently that he's keeping John Cena as Peacemaker, Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, Xolo Maridueña as Blue Beetle, and Freddie Stroma as Vigilante in the DCU. What are your thoughts on this decision? My thoughts are conflicting ones. On one hand, very happy for these actors. Like, I like John Cena as Peacemaker. I like I like Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. I like Xolo as Blue Beetle. I like Freddie as Vigilante. Excuse me. On the other hand, if we're going to fucking reboot. Why are we keeping these actors but not keeping Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn? Henry Cavill as Superman?
I'll tell you right now, Henry. I think Margot's staying. I just don't think it's announced yet. But
I hope you're right. My point still stands, though. Why are we keeping Jason Momoa as Aquaman? Why are we keeping The Rock as Black Adam? Like, it's not one thing where you can, it's a reboot here, but it's not a reboot. Like, it's one thing
it's
or
too
the
confusing.
other.
It's too confusing for the general going audience.
It's
it makes
the
no
same
sense.
problem that has been haunting the. Remember the last time our main topic was James Gunn and DC, and how everything we've learned since the takeover and with the announcement, it just makes everything confusing. Well, pile this onto that pile because
now again,
it's still confusing.
We might be saying it's confusing, and then all the movies and shows start coming out and are like, oh, this is actually really clever how they're doing this. I actually don't mind this. But it still goes back. I'll tell you right now, my fiance, this is her exact words. She told me she will not watch a DCU film from James Gunn. And she's one of the people who is a big fan of Henry Cavill. She's like, I just don't understand why these people can stay, but these people can't. She goes, it makes no sense to me. And
I don't think your fiance should be forced to watch anything, but let's face it, she is marrying you. One way or another, she's going to end up watching them.
Yeah.
One way or the other, sooner or later.
Will. Oh yeah, she will. But that's gonna be a thing that happens. There's gonna be people who are like, this makes no sense to me. Especially if the rumors are true that they keep Gal.
Why are we keeping her but not keeping Henry Cavill?
Yeah.
It eats away at me from the inside.
And I think it pisses me off that not pisses me off. He did that big announcement. That announcement, he should, because that most eyes were on that fucking thing. Even general going audience. That announcement should have had, here's who's staying. Here's my explanation why.
And it shouldn't have been announced before the DCEU officially ends. They should have announced the DCU ends here, and after that, we'll have an announcement.
Yep, exactly. Because I don't know, like, it's just I don't know. Like, out of all these ones, I'm sorry, Xolo is the only one that makes sense staying because he's not connected.
Yeah, I agree.
The only one that makes sense.
If he was the only one staying, I'd be like, yes, he is an actor who is staying, like having played the character before the DCU technically starts, but he is so disconnected from everything else. There's not an issue there.
Exactly. Like, I just and honestly, I would say the same thing for Black Adam. Like, if Black Adam didn't have Henry Cavill or Viola Davis, I would have been like, you can keep Black Adam because it's standalone. It's separate.
And even if it did, it's a post-credit scene. I think that one you can it would still kind of like, I don't know, but it's so minimal. Like, it's not a part of the film or anything.
I want Aldous Hodge's Hawkman. But now they have Hawkgirl played by Dora the Explorer, so I don't know, like, I can't remember the actress's name. I just know she played Dora, but she's great. Yeah, and I like her as that choice. But like, is Aldous Hodge still Hawkman? Like, that doesn't really make sense for, like, canon wise, I guess, unless you're changing stuff. So, or depending on what origin you do, I don't know.
All right, what's next?
Now I'm just pissed. Now I'm just pissed. Now I don't want to. We're done. This is it. Sorry, Lady Aaron asked, "What are your thoughts on the new trailer that we got for Disney's Wish? If you've seen it, I haven't watched it. Don't plan on.
I've not watched it, but I'm so excited for the movie because it looks amazing.
Yeah, it's funny.
I'm loving that song in the teaser.
You know, I haven't seen a single one. I haven't seen a single trailer for this movie. I don't want to.
You should watch the teaser. You should watch the teaser.
I don't want
you should watch the teaser. You should.
I don't think I should. I don't think I should.
You should, just to get a glimpse at that song that's going to get nominated for the Oscar. And Ariana DeBose is a Disney princess, and
that's the exciting
Ren
part.
Is excited.
I know people who have seen it. Like,
don't tell me.
Test screening.
I don't want to know anything about this one.
Dude, you're gonna flip out when you see Tarzan show up and Phil Collins just starts playing his music.
He knows how to get to me, ladies and gentlemen. He knows how to get to me.
I know.
All right. Lady Aaron, thoughts on the first teaser that we got for the upcoming new show, The Curse, that will come in November and has Emma Stone as one of the stars. No idea what this is.
It looks cool.
Never heard of it.
It's from Nathan Felder. I don't even know if you know who he is. Okay. Nope. It's Ren, you'd probably hate it. Don't watch it. So I'll just put it there. Actually, can you try and watch the show?
Ringing endorsement, ladies and gentlemen.
The Rehearsal. Nathan Felder, The Rehearsal.
I have heard like the name, The Rehearsal.
It's on HBO, so it's really good. I think
so
you might.
It's not available over here, is what you mean?
I mean, it's probably somewhere over there.
Yeah, but I'd have to pay for it, which means it's not available over here.
Make Bruno pay for it.
Well, all right. What's next?
Lady Aaron, I've still been trying to get over a cold that formed last week. I feel much better than I did last week, and as I only have the sniffles and a running nose. But what are some movies you love to watch at home when you're sick and suffering through a cold? For me,
all my comfort movies.
Yeah, or comfort shows like The Office. Like I'll just have The Office playing consistently.
How I Met Your Mother for me. It's the comfort show. Treasure Planet, The Lion King, Hot Fuzz, Princess Bride, About Time, Your Name.
I always play like random like rom-coms too, like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, stuff like that. Just because they're just so like disposable in a way. Yeah, you can just like watch them.
So. All right, fair enough. All right. Andrew Seif, because we know James Gunn is keeping some actors in the DCU, Gunn has said in the past he loved working with Margot Robbie on the Suicide Squad. After Robbie's huge success, Barbie, do you think they will announce soon that she will stay in the DCU as Harley Quinn? I don't think so, but I hope I'm eating my words. Like Zach said in the last question we addressed about the DCU. I hope so. I don't expect it. I'm going to be very disappointed. I'm very annoyed at James Gunn because of it.
I would be.
But I hope so.
I'll tell you right now. If you're keeping the other ones and you do not keep Margot Robbie, unless it's her choice and she's like, I just don't want to come back. I'm done. I'm over.
Still annoyed, but I respect it.
I would be fucking livid. I'd be fucking livid. I'll tell you right now, I'm already still fucking livid that anyone's staying, except Sholo. Sholo's the only one that's not a part of this conversation.
Yeah.
You could have just kept John Cena and Freddie Stormo separate and just done Peacemaker Season 2 whenever the fuck you wanted to. Viola Davis, fine. I get it. Whatever. She's the JK of this fucking universe, but
yeah.
I don't know, man. It's too confusing for me to understand.
All right, what's next?
I'm still mad about this. If we get another question about this, I'm over it.
Same.
Andrew Seif, what is your favorite fast food chicken nuggets and what dipping sauce? For me, it has to be McDonald's McNuggets with sweet and sour sauce.
So I'm not too much like the only fast food I'm proper into is pizza. So I don't go too much into McDonald's or Burger King. If anything, I prefer Burger King. But the best nuggets are McDonald's. Here's the thing, though. I don't get sauce on my nuggets. I eat them raw and hard and crispy. So I don't have a favorite sauce. Zach?
I don't know what just happened. You know what's funny? Me and my fiance were talking about this last night. It's
Oh, so
kind of
you
like a
should have
pure
an answer.
coincidence. Yeah, and I can't remember my answer. Seriously.
It's not a coincidence. It's just that Andrew Seif was spying on you guys. He
Yeah,
overheard
I
the
do like
entire
barbecue sauce
conversation.
though. I do like barbecue sauce though.
Oh, okay.
So but I off the top, I mean McDonald's would be up there. Probably Wendy's would be up there. Oh, Carl's Jr. Star Fries. Love those. Haven't had them in
We don't
probably
have Carl's
7
Jr.
years.
here.
Really? That's
Yeah.
disappointing.
We just had a we just
Telepathy.
had
Telepathy.
yeah, telepathy. It's the face. The face doesn't lie. We just had
No one understands. Inside joke. Just
inside
inside joke.
joke. We just had a Wendy's open up here recently. I
Do
still
you
haven't
like it?
been there. I
No?
haven't been there
Oh,
yet.
you should go. It's good.
Um,
Their McNuggets are
yeah.
overrated though. Well, no, their spicy
Okay.
McNuggets are good apparently. My
Okay.
fiance said that. They're fucking excellent apparently. So never had them in my life.
All right. Jigo EP, with the creator, I shared my thoughts in the chat. What are some films that you respect the ambition and appreciate the movie, but as a whole, there's one aspect that stops it from reaching greatness? I feel there's been something recently that made me feel this exact way. So while Zach answers this question,
Well, I don't have an answer.
You bastard! You're supposed to cover for me.
Here we go. Fast X.
I have
It was the ambition and thought-provoking nature of that film, of Jason Momoa saying,
the
"Here
chicken
we go."
McNuggets with sauce of cinema.
Yeah, it was truly something special.
Oh, man.
Yeah. No, I actually do have one. The Covenant. I'm not a fan of this movie. I appreciate the ambition, the appreciation.
Which
Guy
one is
Ritchie's.
that?
Guy Ritchie, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Okay.
I appreciated the ambition and I appreciate what they were going for, but I honestly found it to be very surface level, and I was very in the minority on this. Like everyone loved it, and I didn't. Same thing with Inside. I thought Inside was absolutely boring. With Willem Dafoe, but Willem Dafoe was great. Asteroid City. I do not understand this fucking movie. I'm going to give it another shot when I get a screener probably later this year, but I don't know.
I agree with you on Asteroid City. I don't know that I'd give it as an answer to this because there's not a particular ambition to it. So yeah. For me, it's Ava DuVernay's Origin. Ava DuVernay's Origin is one of those that, like, I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I can talk about it, but it's one that just misses for me because of the specific approach, which ironically is one of the things I admire about it, but it's exactly the thing that kind of stops me from connecting with it on a deeper level. And that is it, like, right now.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that jumps to mind. All right, what's next?
G. Colby, what are your thoughts on Martin Scorsese's stance in expanding his thoughts on franchises, films like MCU and studio systems nowadays in his recent interviews? I'm more 50-50, as obviously I don't agree with him but about the quality of the most films, but I get what he's saying about taking the spotlight away from smaller films. I think people are not watching the entire interview of Martin Scorsese. I'm so fucking tired of this discourse because everything Scorsese is saying, he's not wrong. He is not fucking wrong whatsoever. He wants people, in simplest terms, he wants people to have the chance to see movies on the big screen. That's his issue with all this. And do I agree with him? The quality of most films? Yes, to a certain degree sometimes. Yeah, sometimes when I go see a blockbuster, I'll forget that it even came out this year. Whereas I'll continue to watch a blockbuster from 2005 on repeat. Why? Because the quality of it was incredible. I mean, seriously, like, there's not a single reason why Pirates of the Caribbean looks better than 95% of the blockbusters today. You know what I mean? Like, Even some of the older James Bond films look better than some movie. Like, so I love Martin Scorsese. I'm very biased towards him. He is my favorite personal director of all time. I just I think I think it's annoying when people bring this shit up with him because they know he's gonna talk shit about it. But what he's saying is not bad about it. Everything he's saying is correct to a certain degree. So tell me I'm wrong, Ren.
You're not wrong. He's not wrong, but he's not right either. I can see his point. It's a matter of I agree with his thesis. I don't think he got to the right conclusion because it's not the fault of these films. It's what the people choose to watch. And it's an absolute truth in the universe that you don't blame the audience, but the reason people don't go watch the other films is because they don't want to go watch the other films. So
yeah,
it's on them. And it's their choice to do it. So it's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. Obviously, it's a bad thing because there are many more movies beyond blockbusters, be it Marvel, be it DC, be it The Creator, which is an original blockbuster, be it many others. So it's not the movie's fault. You create trailers, you have marketing campaigns to appeal to people. And the Marvel movies, the DC the DC movies haven't done it. And the blockbusters just appeal to more people. Other films have just been failing to do so, unfortunately. There are as many shitty indie small budget films as there are shitty blockbusters. There are as many spectacular indie auteur films out there as there are fantastic, superb blockbusters. So you have great and good and bad and awful films of every kind. So I hate when the line is drawn between blockbuster and everything else because you have shitty things on both sides. You have great things on both sides. Movies are movies. They come in all degrees of quality. Doesn't matter if you're a blockbuster. Doesn't matter if you're an auteur film. Doesn't matter if you're an indie. Doesn't matter if you're a festival darling. You are going to be shit or good on your own merits. You're not going to be shit or good despite or because you're a blockbuster. You're not going to be shit or good because or despite being an auteur film or anything. So the movies aren't to blame. It's the culture around it. And I think it also falls on studios to help more promote those other films. Because let me tell you, each successful record-breaking blockbuster allows for those smaller indie films, including Martin Scorsese films that never do a lot of money, unfortunately, because most of them are fantastic, to go into the theaters and to have a screening all for themselves. So those are my thoughts. You read this last one, right?
I don't remember. Yes, I did.
Okay, I'll do the next one. Jacoby, anyone saw the news about the Marvels costing over $200 million? And do you think the odds are stacked against this film because of people's feelings towards Marvel now? And neither cost to saying the movie is more of a Kevin Feige production. It's his movie. So I think you live in that reality, but I try to go in with the knowledge that some of you is going to take a back seat, causing more doubt on the film, thinking she's out of her element. I haven't seen too much of these comments. Like, I've literally seen this quote and not the context for it, but let's face it, the worst Marvel movies are Kevin Feige productions. The best Marvel movies are Kevin Feige productions. So the fact that she acknowledges, like, this is a Kevin Feige production, it's not something that dissuades or increases my excitement for the film specifically, because I didn't love Captain Marvel. I like Captain Marvel. I think it's a good movie. With a very weak third act, but I think it's a good movie. The Marvels has some elements I'm intrigued for, but it also comes off a movie I didn't love. So there's also some elements where I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I'll enjoy it, but it'll be like very low ranking for me. And I haven't seen anything beyond the teaser trailer. I think it has some things going for it, but for better or worse, it's a Kevin Feige production, and that's not something I had any doubts about going into the film, even before seeing anything about it. Zach?
I mean, you said everything I was thinking, so I don't have a
Yes.
lot more to really say. I just want to watch the movie, and that's about really the rest I can just kind of put out there.
All right, what's next?
G. Colby, what's the year in film where you've given the most A+s? Recently, probably 2016. La La Land, Arrival. Was that? Yeah, La La Land, Arrival.
Yeah. I
all
mean,
those.
I've only been doing this since 2016, so off the top of my head, it might have been either 2016 or 2017. I can tell you this year, I still haven't given out an A+. So still hasn't happened. I've given quite a few A's. I think I've given like a full top 10 of A's. I'm not sure.
Fair enough.
But yeah. GGOP, When No One Will Save You, what were films you were loving, but the ending brought it down for you, but you still like the movie? Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Do you have any?
I'd have to really think on this. Oh man,
I have to really think.
I really dug that fucking movie till the ending. That ending.
I was the reverse. On that.
Oh, you liked the ending. You liked the butthole stuff.
That was the most interesting part of the film.
Oh man,
Easy.
I disagree. You're high as a kite, but
not now, unfortunately.
When I first saw it, nope, wasn't really feeling the ending.
On
repeat viewings, I dig it more and more.
I agree.
I don't hate it as much. In fact, I've kind of come to love it when I understood what he was trying to go for. But that was one.
I have one. I have one.
What is it? Throw it.
Let me reread the question. Films you were loving, but the ending brought it down for you, but I still like the movie? Don't Worry, Darling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the one. In recent memory, that's the one.
Yeah, I can agree with that. What about Bottoms? I thought you didn't really like the blood bath.
I like violence, man. So I liked it. I just thought like in the context, because the movie is grounded. Mm-hmm. Everything about it like is real. It lives in the same reality as ours. And then the bloodbath happens, and I'm like, hold on. People were just fine. Where's the police? Where's 911? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Where are the legalities of this? Come on. I have another one.
Throw it.
I don't know that it fits into the I was loving the movie, but with the ending bringing it down, I still like it because I was liking the movie. The ending brought it down, so I thought it was all right. Bodies, bodies, bodies.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a make it or break it film. It didn't quite break it for me, but it's closer to the break it than the make it.
I knew the ending. Like the second stuff started.
You know why
down,
I didn't know?
Like, huh?
You know why I didn't know? Because my brain couldn't conceive of you're not going in that direction. That would be so stupid.
I knew they were going to.
I hated it. All right, what's next?
G. Colby, let's say you were in charge of making Expendable 4s. I wouldn't be because I would make a better movie. If you would change the cast, obviously you would put in the Expendables from both men and women stars. For me, Jackie Chan, Keanu Reeves, Tom Cruise, Sigourney Weaver, and Angelina Jolie. That is a good cast. I would really dig that. So for fun, I think
these movies could
cast this.
Yes, I think these movies could never afford Tom Cruise. These movies could never afford Tom Cruise.
And everything.
I'm gonna take him out.
It wouldn't have to be CGI green screens.
I'm gonna keep Jackie Chan.
I'd keep Keanu.
Sigourney Weaver, I'm gonna keep. I'm not gonna keep Keanu Reeves because he can't be the main character, and I'm not gonna put Keanu Reeves in it without him being the main character.
What about the main villain?
It's gonna be.
What about the main villain?
I don't want Keanu Reeves to die at the hands of Stallone or Statham either. You know.
Oh, I don't want them to die. Still going to be in this because I wouldn't.
Cast those two have got to be in it. Those two.
I'm gonna make a whole new Expendables cast right here. All right, you ready? Here's mine.
Ooh, okay.
Shia LaBeouf. We're bringing him in from the Transformers era. Don't care. Sean Connery. I want Michael Bay directing this. I want Shia LaBeouf and Sean Connery acting off each other. Okay? For fuck's sakes. Megan Fox, let's just fucking bring her in there. Even though I know she's in Expendables 4 and probably got awful. Let's just bring her in there. I'm just looking at movies now. So we got Michael Bay directing, we got Shia LaBeouf starring, we got Sean Connery starring with him. I know he passed, but this is beforehand. Fuck it. Let's throw Jamie Foxx in there. I'd be down for that.
Jamie Foxx would actually fit.
Yeah,
I'd be down to see Jamie Foxx in that.
Jake Gyllenhaal, his insanity from Ambulance. Let's do that. Mark
Oh, that's
Wahlberg, why
good.
not? Uh, I
Hey,
do
Sly, what are you
want
doing over there?
at least one Transformer in there, so I want
Oh,
the
God.
tiny ones that roll around. And then
The
last but not
racist
least,
ones?
are they racist? I don't
The
remember.
tiny ones that roll around from Revenge of the Fallen
Oh
from
yeah,
2?
fuck yeah,
They
fuck
are
it, why
very
not?
racist.
Oh man, I don't remember that too well. So let's just throw them in there, and they'll die at the hands. They'll be the villains. And then last but not least, let's throw Don John in there, but not Joseph Gordon-Levitt, just the character Don John.
Dude.
Oh man,
I had a spit take on camera. It happened after 7 fucking years.
yes.
It happened. It was all because of this guy right here. Oh my god.
I'd watch that movie. It'd probably be better than the Expendables 4.
I refuse to answer this question because I'm just not gonna top it. So Zach wins. Zach wins this one. So it's me. Lady Aaron, penultimate question. Well, within the next couple of weeks, we will be celebrating 5 years since Jamie and Chazelle masterpiece known as First Man was released. What are some of your favorite aspects of First Man?
God damn,
And do
5
you
years?
5
What the
years?
fuck?
5 years. 5 years since it was shunned at the Academy Awards. Well, 4 years since that, because 2019. And do you still watch this movie to this very day? Yes. It has been a while, but my favorite aspect about it is everything about it. It's just a perfectly well-made film. So yeah, fantastic. Not as fantastic as my spit take. I need to do a short of that.
You should.
But yeah, I love First Man. Love First Man. Love it. Zach?
Well, Don John's not in this one, so I'm a
Come
little
on.
bit disappointed. So, but no, I love First Man.
Fuck's
It's funny. This is my least favorite Damien Chazelle film, and it's still fucking perfect. So, I mean, technically not, because if you include his very, very first film, that would be my least favorite. But
Oh yeah.
First Man should never have been shunned, and it's kind of like funny to go back and watch it. But then like we have Oppenheimer now, which is like very much the same tone, and like it was beloved. But
Yeah.
First Man was just like shunned, and people were like, "Oh, it's hard to connect. Oh, we didn't see him plant the flag in the moon." I'm sorry. That whole controversy, by the way, just pissed me off about this movie, because I'm like, you didn't watch the movie. Like, there's a more emotional thing.
There's
The
a more
bracelet?
compelling focus.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
so
that moment breaks me. It fucking breaks me every time.
same. So, but
Final question.
I got this one. Or yeah, it's
No,
my turn.
I
Right?
know you do.
Yep.
I just read
G.
the
Colby.
previous one.
End on a fun music question. How do you know you're going to be the final question? What are albums that you still consistently listen to this day? For me, I've been jamming to a lot of Rage Against the Machine's Evil Empire, The Battle of Los Angeles, and Beastie Boys' Paul Boutique.
Mostly movie scores. But I still listen to Divide, Iron Maiden's entire discography. I was about to say filmography. Most of Metallica, Not Saying Anger. Some of my other favorite bands, Dragon Force. Oh, dude, I sent you the link last weekend. But I found this band. I came across this band where it's like, I don't like this album. I don't like these guys. This is some of the best shit I have ever heard. This is all-time favorite band. I discovered this band called Dayseeker and this album Dark Sun. It's fucking phenomenal.
I'm putting it on my Spotify.
The entire fucking album. It's incredible. When I get very excited when I'm serious about something, I swear a lot, so you fucking know I'm serious about this.
Yeah.
This is really good. The Your Name album is fantastic. The Drive soundtrack is out of this world. La La Land, obviously, Great Showman. And again, I dove back into movies, but Alter Bridge, Blackbird, it's their best album, so I always listen to that. Dragon Force, I've said. Bullet for My Valentine, Scream, Aim, Fire is also their best album. Ed Sheeran's Divide. Yeah, those are just like off the top of my head, the things that like I can find here. Those are the ones that I always go back to. Slipknot is also a really good band. Disturbed. Is it Inside the Fire? Hang on. Disturbed. One of my favorite bands as well. Indestructible is the Indestructible is the album, and there's also a track named Indestructible. There's also a track named Inside the Fire. That's why I got confused. So yeah, those are some of the. But yeah, Dayseeker's album, Dark Sun or Neon. What was the album again? I forgot.
I heard Dark Sun. That's what I put.
I will double check just to make sure. No, I don't want to listen to John Campia now. Dark Sun, yes, and the band is Dayseeker. One word, not Dayseeker. Dayseeker. It's holy shit. I've been listening to this album all fucking week. It gives me chills. It's so good. So yeah, that is the final question.
I didn't get
oh, sorry. Please go ahead.
No, you're
Please
good. You're good. Real fast. The Foo Fighters, The Color and the Shape. That's my favorite album of all time. Mac Miller's Blue Slide Park. I'm a big fan of Black Bear, so I do a lot of his Dead Roses and things like that. The Black Panther original motion picture album. That fucking album.
Oh, that's a good one.
So fucking good. I listen to it all the time. And then just kind of like end on one, like recently I've been listening to the Spider-Verse, like the actual score for it. Like every time I get in my car, I kick off Gwen's and you just hear like, and then when it ties in and goes into Spider-Man 2099 next, I'm like, oh my God.
Like, I didn't get too addicted to the soundtrack of this one. I love the soundtrack in Into the Spider-Verse. The soundtrack in this one is
I like
good,
the score.
But I didn't get like...
I like the score more for this one.
I love the score in both. But like this one, the soundtrack just didn't stick out. So yeah. All right, everyone. And now we're done with the show. Thank you so much for watching, for joining us, for asking great questions, for catching the first ever spit take on the channel. Maybe 2 weeks from now, when we have another show, Zach will have something to tell you. I'm leaving that up to him. I have to ask him something also about that after the show. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned because the London Film Festival is about to start, so many reviews are coming. The next video is coming on Monday, and it's a video I'm very excited to share with you. Saw X review is now up on the channel. Flora and Son review. Many more videos to come. Once more, thank you for finding us, and until next time, love each other and love the movies. Bye-bye, everybody.